What's up? What's up? This your boy Tank.
And this your nigga Mike Millie.
And this is Supreme Conversations, you dig? Brought to you by Supreme Cuts over here at 1876 Hope Street, where you can catch us giving these fire cuts, fire fades all day, you dig? But today we got a special guest from New Orleans, part of the culture. He been around. If you people don't know him, his name is Jared Brossett.
Jay.
What's up, Mike? Tank.
What's up, Jay?
Oh, man.
Thank y'all for having me here at Supreme Cuts.
Almost done.
My barber and hallmark of the community, and I'm proud of both you gentlemen for what investment you all have made and the opportunity that y'all came to me as a council member to open y'all establishment like many others throughout this city, and I'm glad to embrace it. Y'all have done phenomenal for y'all clients in the community.
That's what's up, man. Appreciate that.
Thinking back to that day though, that was a little rough day, Jay. We had some other people that was pulling in a different direction from where we was trying to go, and you saw it in us, man, and pulled for us and gave us that chance. So we wouldn't be here without you.
Thank you, brother. Well, it's
Appreciate
it's without there'd be no story if there wasn't no ups and downs.
Right.
Y'all kept committed and determined to open this place up for y'all entrepreneurship and the value y'all bring to y'all clientele, and that's what it's about: lifting people up in opportunity.
Definitely.
For sure.
Definitely appreciate that.
Hell
Give
yeah.
us some insight to your growing up.
So I originally grew up uptown on Coliseum Street, attended St. Francis Elementary School in deep uptown New Orleans, State Street. Was the last class to graduate. I'm the youngest of two, my brother and I, and of course my dad had a previous marriage and my sisters, so the youngest of four. But a brother and I, for my mother, who single-handedly worked 3 and 4 jobs, that common struggle.
That's how it was back then. It was.
New Orleans women, a lot of single mothers out there, and
Shout out to the single mothers.
Shout out to y'all for raising y'all children and doing it so they could have a better life.
Right.
And so there was separation and divorce, but throughout it all, my mom instilled the values in me of hard work, education. She was always invested in what we was doing in our elementary and secondary education, which happens to be the grade McDowell 35, Ron Eagles.
Hats off to everybody that graduated from now and is attending now. Yeah.
35, 35.
Yeah, so it's just grateful for her strength, to raise us into what we've become, and very proud of my brother. We both finished. He finished from UNO. I finished from Xavier, but he recently finished a pharmacy degree, a graduate of pharmacy school, and he's pounding the pavement to make his mark as a pharmacist.
Older brother, younger brother?
Older brother.
Any
I'm
sisters?
the youngest. Older sisters.
All right. So you got this. How many of y'all?
There's 4 of us.
4 of y'all.
Yeah. Cabrini, my sister Melissa, and my sister Kelly, John F.
Kennedy, Cabrini.
That's crazy how
2 of them
went to
hitters.
different
Yeah.
schools.
Yeah. Wait, what?
My brother and I are 35.
Right.
All right. Well, girls did their own thing. They wanted to do their thing.
Did you have any relationship with that?
With what?
With that?
Yeah, we had a relationship. it's like in all families, it's strained. There was a lot of domestic violence, which, of course, I don't condone at all, and it must be diminished and advocated for continuously throughout not only New Orleans but our state, because we have the highest rate of domestic violence deaths in the country, and specifically to black women. And I'm proud to, when I have served, to strengthen the laws regarding domestic violence. And it's just no excuse to it, and would never put my hands on a woman. But it's a family issue. It's a woman issue that needs to continuously be addressed to make sure that they are protected when they reach out to the system, to the judicial system. So,
fuck, man. How mom's doing?
Oh, mom's good. We just celebrated her 70. Oh, I'm giving her age. I better not do that. But she is. She's the youngest of 7. 5 girls and 2 of my uncles. 2 uncles who are deceased, and she is, magnificent. She don't look her age. I just say that.
Yeah.
She's.
Family, man. Family is so precious. And it's good to hear y'all still together. I just was talking to a guy the other day, and he was telling me all the problems he was having with him and his brothers and his sisters, and everybody battling over mom's past, but everybody battling over the little bit that she left. You know what I'm saying? So it's just good to hear a story while mom's is good, and your brothers and sisters are good. Everything ain't bad. Every story is not a bad story.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And they're gonna have those ups and downs. That's what's
family.
That's what's called life.
Family. I mean, that's just you're right. Life.
Right.
We're gonna have ups and downs and everything.
So we out of high school, college. What we doing?
Went to go Nuggets. Xavier University, Louisiana.
Shout out to Xavier.
Continued the tradition of many of my cousins and aunts, uncles, and Xavier was a big impact on me. The great Dr. Francis, a mentor, and what that institution represents for African Americans, not only in biomedical and pharmacy, but I believe also that it has a great public policy stature, if I would say, and what the common causes Xavier has rallied around throughout its history. So Xavier, I studied political science with a concentration in international relations, and had some very phenomenal professors who pushed me from time to time, and it's a great institution. They have a fundraising campaign going on right now, and I'll actually be celebrating my 20 years in 2024.
That's what's up.
Yeah, but
Congratulations on that.
thank you. Love my classmates all over the country.
What college you went to, Mike?
I went to several colleges. I did some stuff at Delgado, and then I used my transfer credits. But this is not about me.
Yeah, but
This is about Jared Brossett.
I did Delgado too.
All right.
I took 2
Former
classes.
and I'm connected.
Go sit down.
I'm connected.
Yeah.
And I didn't know.
I did Delgado back when I was a senior at 35.
How long you was there?
I was there just what two semesters. It was my senior year.
Yeah.
And what is called concurrent enrollment, which I encourage many people to get involved in, is you finish most of your credits in your high school your last year, then you go be responsible.
Chase the bag.
Right.
Yeah,
I had to pay for a car note and insurance.
So what that life was at City Hall, man, how was that?
It was a constant grind. Look, I love policy. I love legislating on behalf of the people that put me there, and that's the voters.
Yeah.
And that's something that one public official that's elected should never forget is how they got there.
Right.
And I think that gets lost a lot these days. What are you doing? What are you producing? What are you trying to do? Because everything doesn't pass. However, the attempts, meaning you working at it and going forward with it. And so, I always looked at my motto is, putting people above politics. Those voters are the ones who, went to the ballot box and participated in the democratic process to put individuals in the seats that they're in.
Right.
That's gonna do what the fuck we need them to do.
Yeah, and
No bullshitting.
let the people drive the agenda from the ground up.
Right.
That's what democracy is all about, and our elections so important in current times. And so, City Hall it was not foreign to me. I mean, I got there about 30 years old for my second tour. On my first tour, I was an intern under former councilman who was the Sheriff Guzman. And then I came on part-time and then finished college, started full-time, and the rest was history. Stood there till 2009, graduated from Xavier in 2004, and then went on my own and made this decision to run for state representative, District 97.
Man, I don't see it, Jay. I just don't see how some people fuck with that game, man. That's such a nasty, dirty game. Before I ask you my next question, let me go back and ask you, if you was filling out a resume, like, what's your credentials? Like, what have you done? And what would you put on that resume? I want to get this insight on you.
Well, there's a couple of things. I've had the opportunity to work public sector, private sector, and nonprofit. I had the opportunity in 2010 to work with the Urban League of Greater New Orleans, which is now called Urban League of Louisiana. One of my mentors, former mayor of this city, Mayor Mark Morial, is the president and CEO. In his 20th year reigning as president over the oldest civil rights organization in our country,
Right.
Which has contributed a lot to the agenda of minorities and African Americans, economic empowerment, financial security, fair elections, and so forth. So I had a great tour at the Urban League when it was on Galvez and Canal Street. And I had the opportunity to work with many of my constituents I was working with while simultaneously I was in the legislature. Had the great work of working with the oyster fishermen after the BP oil spill. down in Braithwaite and Plaquemines Parish, because that industry is so important.
Definitely.
And specifically to, our minorities, fishermen who make that
Feed their family.
feed their family.
Who gotta feed their family?
So the program, as an advocacy coordinator of this particular program and all the other programs, but was making sure that those families were made some way kind of whole, because there's a lot of lost money due to the damages of the oil spill.
Are the fishing or the wildlife still fucked up from this? Yeah.
I believe there's still
Effects?
damage, effects from
The beach, the shore, the sand.
The fish.
oil spill. But there's been investments into the reefs and the islands off the coast of Louisiana to create a better defense system from our natural disaster of hurricanes. But I'm hopeful that on the the ecological side and seafood side, I mean, look, we're still eating oysters and seafood.
They still fishing.
And they're still fishing, and that goes to the determination and resilience. We get hit once, twice, 3 times, we pick ourselves up and go back to work. So
Yeah.
that was a great a great opportunity through the Urban League. I also I assisted. MISO is Mid-Continent Independent System Operators. I assisted as a consultant management with their integration into the city of New Orleans. They run transmission as a third party, regulated by FERC in D.C., the Federal Electric Energy Regulatory Commission. They run the transmission lines, Manitoba, Canada, all the way down to Louisiana, governed by the Louisiana Public Service Commission, and then New Orleans.
Jay, it's enough. And I say that because your resume keep running. And I know that because I Googled you. So if you want any more of Jay's resume, go to fucking Google and get that shit.
LinkedIn.
This man is heavy. LinkedIn? All right. Let me get you some of these other questions before we get out. We know you're a busy man. You went through a substantial weight loss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How was that transformation?
Well, it was first, it's a mindset. You got to make the commitment to yourself to improve. So, I was like, I don't like how these suits look on me, and I know, that.
Shit, you bought all new suits.
I was getting older. Yeah, I had to. I went like 2, 3 suit sizes down, and the health aspects and effects as you get older. Many people have health problems throughout their families that they connected with. My grandmother was a diabetic and died in her 70s when I was 4 years old. And it's significant. I mean, the stuff that you put in your body, and so I just made a conscientious decision to do away with certain things, eat better, and I worked at it. So
You exercising?
oh yeah, I just before I came here, I went to the gym.
All right. How many times a week you try to get in?
I'll try to get 3 times a week.
Yeah, definitely.
You gotta work out, man. Stay healthy.
Yeah. Live longer,
Yeah.
Also, I want to throw.
So what? I mean, what you think about the presidency?
Yo, yes, definitely. Sleepy
So,
Joe.
so I mean, we had a critical point in our country's history when as 2024 approaches and the primaries and the 2024 election is to one number one. I think is priority. Everybody needs to needs to participate that's eligible to vote, regardless of who they're voting for. I think that 2016 election showed us, there's a lot of buyer's remorse. Former Secretary of State, First Lady Hillary Clinton, who had the opportunity to be a delegate for and watch her take the nomination in Philadelphia. Um, there was a lot of problems with that election, and that has been investigated. Russian interference. You know, some have also stated that the lackluster of a campaign on the secretary's side for the presidency. But there was a lot of people. The unfortunate thing, there was a lot of people that stayed home and did not vote. So that's one piece.
A lot of people don't believe in the
They
vote
just don't feel like it's gonna make no difference.
because I mean, if you go vote, it's still passed down to somebody else to make that.
But
That,
it's the hallmark of our democratic republic. I believe that everybody has that right, and
I get that, but
what
I
the
mean,
ancestors fought.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure. But it's like you still like they want to look at like the outlook of that city, what they doing, who they voting for. But it's still to me,
It's so much of the same bullshit. Everybody get up there and say the same shit they said the year before. If we had somebody who we believe would make a change, I think you'll have a slew of people going.
yeah. But I'm saying for
That's why they voted for Barack. We just knew it was gonna be some change. I stood in the motherfucking outside for a while,
yeah. I mean,
voting for Barack, and I didn't see shit from Barack
what you voted for him for?
because he was a black man, and I got bought into the hype, the bullshit. That's what happened. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm saying so.
A big thing about it. Go ahead.
Nah, but I mean, like I was saying is, you go out there and vote. And some people think it don't count.
Yeah, and I mean not a pessimistic because it's voter apathy. They see that they're not getting progress delivered by those officials. So I can see that side. However, there's a bigger thing, a bigger picture involved, and that's the future that we want. And I attempt to be optimistic most of the times, but the the right to vote and to cast your selection for the individual. I think it's so critical.
important.
It's so critical.
Right.
I see what he's saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, me too.
To remembering
Yeah.
where we were and
Exercise it.
exercise it.
Exercise that right.
You may not, your choice may not make it.
Right.
However, but there's elections down the line, and if they do make a good job, you vote them back in. They
Right.
don't. That's your power,
Right.
and that power is, in my eyesight, sacred and critical for the many people who led throughout, the Voting Rights Act, 1965, and of course the Civil Rights Act. It's a lot of progress has been made from those ancestors, and there are many attempts right now to take away and been successful by this, right-wing Supreme Court to diminish the liberties that have been afforded to, I mean,
So
To
niggas ain't
everybody, or
the
just
the Supreme Court decisions on affirmative action,
right?
the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe versus Wade, that is, an attack on women's personal reproductive health. The government, I was proud at one point I had to go back and look at the voting sheet and serving in the legislature. I was the only one to vote against an abortion bill out of 105 members. And,
That's tough.
protecting a women's health care, that's between her and her doctor. And I'm, unapologetic pro-choice. But the other part, taking away what I believe was in the executive power of the president, and that's the question y'all asked me. We got started. I mean, President Biden has had some significant accomplishments, him and Vice President Kamala Harris, that I hadn't seen in two-term presidents.
Really?
Yeah.
Because speaking of exercise,
student loans. I mean, I believe the executive power and the privilege that he has the right to wipe away the student loans, and then the Supreme Court came and shot him down.
Right.
But you can't stop there.
That's why I was saying about, do the president have the last say?
now how you think the voters feel when seeing that?
Yeah, like
You know what I'm saying? I didn't vote for Sleepy Joe. You know what I'm saying? I really think he have no fucking business as our fucking president. And this McConaughey, what is McConaughey? I mean, what? Come on, man. What the fuck we doing as a America to be even allowing some? We need to be trying to vote his ass out of that. I mean, come on, man. What are we doing? It's like we look like a joke to these other countries. And who really give a fuck how we look to them? But at the same time, you don't want to have no weak presence because it's a wicked world. You know what I'm saying? But
and I mean, as obvious as it is that yes, President Biden is getting older. However, he's a former member, long-term member of the Senate. He speaks to the common people's issues throughout the country, and we got him there because the former guy screwed this country so.
And a lot of people like
vote,
it. But a lot of people like that.
I should have exercised my right. So really, I can't say shit. I didn't exercise my right to vote.
Do you like him or not?
Trump, I fuck with Trump. I think so much can be learned from Trump compared to the rest of these old beat up old white men.
So why you like
You know
him?
what I'm saying? Trump has balls. You know what I'm saying? Trump got nuts. And he's using the system the way a lot of us should be using the system.
But actually,
so we got a lot to learn from this.
But ask yourself, who is he looking out for? And how has he
I
made
get that.
advantage monetarily, him and his family, over many?
I should say only from me.
Man,
from
Trump
me
is
sitting and
business.
watching Trump, I was able to see and learn a lot.
He's a business.
Watching Barack, I don't think I learned much of nothing. Watching Biden, I don't see where I'm learning nothing. Biden's business deals are fucked up and shaky. Even Trump got shaky and fucked up business deals. But maybe we not hearing all the ins and outs, tails of way Biden making moves. Because I hear some powerful shit he doing too. So I'm in the business. I'm watching the bread.
Right.
Yeah. So
I hear you, yeah, and different Republican policies for people, back pocket, their pocketbooks, incomes is different from Democratic policies.
Right.
But I think it's also important when we talk about elections and we talk about, I believe all politics are local, educating yourself, not letting somebody else tell you feed you. You know, I mean, Reagan said, Reagan, who in today's, he was a Republican in the 80s, and he was the oldest president at the time. You know, trust but verify. Go verify the facts for yourself. Don't let nobody dictate or brainwash you about you have an able, capable mind. And I remember my grandfather, who lived to be 99, he hated the robocalls. Call you on the cell phone.
Yeah.
Like, look, don't tell me who to vote for.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, you know,
Just like in church, you know, you listen to the preacher, but the preacher, a real preacher, should say, "Listen, I'm telling you this and this is what I got from it, but listen, go sit down and read it
But
for
you
yourself."
take what you want from the message. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, just what he's saying. You don't really. I mean, you go there for the word, but you take what you,
And Trump too. Trump too old.
I mean,
Trump need to sit down too. He's too old to be.
I mean, the guy has won Big Mac from,
Yeah.
you know.
And I fuck with Trump to an extent.
But to a point you said earlier, look, I mean, all of the distractions, you know, Hunter Biden stuff, and then Trump. I mean, that should not be, you know, overpowering.
If you were doing something, it wouldn't.
The news.
It couldn't. If he was really standing on something, some shit would happen, and he was really making things happen, and we would feel a direct effect of it, that stuff probably wouldn't get it.
But my point is that the judicial system, the judicial process, for the American people to have faith in it, you know, both individuals, you know, the American people, we need to see that everything is on the up and up, and that justice is conveyed fairly, and constitutional rights are protected. And, you know, that's, you know, just because Hunter Biden may get a pat on the back, that doesn't mean Trump should get a pass.
No, sir. Right. Sir.
However, I'm just saying that, you know, the application of justice and law needs to be.
They need some term limits.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
And maybe 8 years for a president, since he is maybe too long as well. If you ain't doing that, well, at least you get to double up and go again. So it's really on the people to vote.
They vote him back in.
But give him some term limits. Give him some age limits. Come on, man. I mean, what is we doing? I see all that shit yesterday, bro. That was like, if that was my grandpa, I had to, man, grandpa, give it up.
Yeah,
you know?
Look, I mean,
give it up, man.
And it's not just him.
I think I'll knock my grandpa out. Like, you're not going back up there. You're not going back up there. It's a wrap, grandpa. You know?
I mean, I was like, I thought it was too slow for his fellow colleagues. I'm like, dang, you know, like, y'all see this man just pause mid-sentence.
Right.
Won't y'all just, like, remove him?
That's a wrap.
As long as he in there and those people want him in there because they benefiting from him being in there, he gonna be there. Greed, man.
I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, it's greed, and you know, as a former member of the legislature, state legislature, I believe in the institutional knowledge, and our legislature didn't always have term limits, but.
And Biden is right there too. He's right there too. I believe in the opportunity for anyone who wants to run for public office. They should be able, capable, and the demographic should not just be, you know, rich white guys.
Old white guys.
White guys ain't got nothing better to do. Right. You know, in this state, the state keeps electing stupid people to the body, and when you elect stupid people, you know, that's uneducated about cultures and so forth.
You get stupid results.
You know, stupid results.
Kamala, how do you say this lady's name?
Kamala.
I was so excited. Once again, I got so fucking excited because we got a black in office and bow, slap in the face. I don't see nothing happening. I don't even know what I want to see happen.
Well, I mean, what do you want?
I mean,
It's for
I don't want to say no fucking funky programs. I mean, pass that fucking money out. But you gotta pass the money out to the organizations.
What money?
Like run the programs. So,
what money, Mike?
we need some real we need everything is fucking greed. That's what the problem is. Even the money they handing out to the people they handing it to, if they can get it, they ain't doing right with it. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, without the money touching the right people, then things really can't really change. I mean, we could talk all day.
I mean, the American Rescue Plan was one of the most significant legislative victories for the Biden-Harris administration, which sent a lot of money to the states, through the pandemic, to recover from the times we were all shut in, and I mean they've made significant achievements, I believe, in less than this 4 years' time. I mean, you look at what they've done for military veterans who've been exposed to toxins. I know my uncle served, my late uncle served overseas, and that's a great benefit to the men and women who serve our country in the armed forces. In addition to that, you have passage of not what I wanted to see, but making legislation. Not to the extent I wanted to see. I wanted to see more come out of our Congress, our Senate, after all these gun shooting deaths with the assault weapons. Biden and Harris had the most significant piece of legislation with Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut in the last 30 years on guns. And that's how backwards a lot of our U.S. senators, they don't want to address, and this is many Republicans, they don't want to address the common problem of gun violence, which is a public health.
We voting in.
Which is a public health issue. You got our babies getting, shot to death because this jackass can buy a goddamn assault weapon. And look, I'm all for the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, but
And not being responsible with it.
not being responsible, but as former Justice Scalia, who was a conservative, said the right to bear arms is constitutional, but it's not, key word, not unlimited. Right to bear arms within your home.
Everybody got straps now, boy.
But
Yeah.
I just saw a video last night on Instagram. Two gentlemen at the in the 3800 block of Tulane went rob an apartment, robbed a safe and goods and whatever else. Now they were stupid; they didn't cover up their face, and they looked directly at the camera. And I hope the police catch them. But one of them had a assault rifle.
Thank God nobody was home.
Right. Thank God nobody was home. Obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Which lead me into this last question. Back to the city of New Orleans, because man, Kamala, Joe, McConaughey, Pence. If I could just go, what's the other former speaker name? Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy
Pelosi. She old too. What the fuck we doing with these old? But that's another story. The city, the police
Man,
chief.
this dude
We
here,
got for a new police chief.
Yeah.
I'm one of those who feel that the police chief should be a part of the city, from the city. But at the same time, I'm not opposed to having somebody coming from fucking wherever if they gonna make a change in the city. How you feel about officials living outside the city, coming from other places, coming in the city? What you
Well,
think?
I look, we have a lot of great talent in the city of New Orleans for individuals to be whatever they want to be. And have been rallying the flag throughout my former public service is that, look, you ain't got to go outside. You know, we got people right here that contribute to this
Yeah.
community that could be in positions of leadership at the corporate tables, running nonprofits, and it doesn't. We don't need to go run.
Man, you get them other people. They don't know our culture like that.
Right, they don't know.
They don't know the people down here like that.
And you know, I would say that I'm not opposed to national searches. I'm not opposed.
That shit whack. Man.
You know, I just, you know, we keep, you know, passing our good bread and butter individuals, citizens, residents here, for somebody that, you know, don't have the experience of knowing.
The previous. He was from somewhere else.
Who?
Previous police chief.
No, Ferguson.
He was from here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
All right. I didn't know
look,
that.
Yeah, and there's, you know, it's a lot of very moving parts and variables when you selecting the police chief, and I mentioned my former mentor, Mayor Mark Morial, and what he went through with the selection of Richard Pennington, the late Richard Pennington, who was a significant impact in those 90s throughout our time. That whole process, you know, it's not as the former mayor said, it's not, the process is not a political football where you get to, you know, I guess, shoot at all these candidates that may be involved. I believe there's a process for it to be, you know, transparent and inform the public, the media, of who exists and who has vied for it. But I think it's one of the most critical choices a mayor can make, and a governor rather, on who runs state police. And so I believe Michelle Woodfork has done, Interim Chief Woodfork has done a significant job in her commitment in laying out a plan the last 6-8 months. And, you know, we'll see where the chips fall. But she has a history of being with the department and her work. I see that as I talk to friends, the morale has increased. You know, everybody's having a shortage with officers these days. Nobody wants to be one because of the significant
Fucking bullshit.
The pay?
No, it's not so much the pay. I mean, currently New Orleans is under consent decree by the federal government, which puts a lot of constraints on our officers of what they can do and, you know, what they can't do. You make the wrong move and, you know, you're written up, you know, demoted or so forth.
I mean,
And look, and I believe
in
the point, I believe in the principle of why the consent decree was started in the first place, and that's to have a constitutional police department.
Right.
But I think at this point, I mean, it's very costly. I was chair of the budget committee. It's very costly for the city. As long as the city can make and has done in cases, show the commitment that they're institutionalizing the reforms, so the NOPD of today don't get back to the
NOPD
of the past.
Yeah.
And
We
look,
don't want that.
Right, we don't want that. So
But we ain't happy now either.
so it's
But that's
there's a lot of
it ain't just us.
there's a lot of hardworking
But this
men
shit
and women.
can't be hard, man. It just can't be that fucking hard to clean up a city, man. It can't be that fucking hard.
But it's
Come on, man.
It,
You
it's
do it.
more than, hey man, it
You do it.
takes
do it.
it takes all of us. It's not just the police department.
It takes the community.
look.
There's systemic issues that like poverty and poverty and blight and so forth that fair housing.
Yeah.
That's critical. You see
Insurance,
Airbnb has
Ran
done
up.
to our city.
Yeah. The whole
Taxes,
city of Airbnb.
So it's a constant grind at City Hall.
I got questions after questions, Jay. We be sitting here all
But
night.
man, we appreciate you coming through, man.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate you coming through, Jake. Giving
anytime.
giving us some enlightening, you dig?
Something to marinate on. You know?
Yeah,
we
yeah.
definitely gonna have you back over here as a guest, man.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm glad to.
I would
see
like
what
to
y'all
say,
doing.
you definitely inspire me to inspire others to go vote, though. Go vote or shut the fuck up, because you got a voice, but if you ain't going to use it, zip it up and don't have nothing to say.
For sure.
Right, elections coming up.
But peace out.
Peace out, y'all.
Yeah.
Strong.